Right. So I'm just going to go a step back. So we're going to be using two different assertions, assert true and assert equals. And like I mentioned, for assert equals, use assert equals when you're trying to test the equality of two different objects. So basically, the expected object and the actual object have to match. They have to be the same. I'm just going to say in this case, then your spelling needs to be like the same for the actual and the expected. So obviously it's case sensitive. If your actual is saying thanks for contacting us and your expected is saying thanks for contacting us, we'll be in touch with you shortly, they obviously are not matching, so your test is going to fail. But if the actual is saying thanks for contacting us, we'll be in touch with you shortly, full stop, and your expected is also saying the same thing with a full stop, then your test is obviously going to pass. So we are going to go into IntelliJ now to see how we do that, like how we write the assertions and everything like that. And another thing we're going to look at is driver.quit and driver.close. So like everybody would have been experiencing this. Whenever you run your test, you would see your Chrome browser will still sort of be opened. And if you've run your test 5 times, you'll see like 5 Chrome browsers on your Docker manager or the bottom of your screen. So instead of having to close them manually one after the other, we are going to be using code in our IntelliJ or a method in our IntelliJ to close that off for us automatically. So we're going to be looking into that just after we've done the assertion. So let us try the assertions now. And the first one I'm going to be doing is going to be the assert true. So how do we do that? First off, I need to go and get my locator. Assert true, I already mentioned to us that we are going to be getting the locator for the box itself, not for the word. So to get a locator for the box, as usual, we right click on inspect, pick up the selector icon, and then you move to the box itself. So I want you to notice two different things. When I click on the word, you can see, when I click on the sentence, you can see on my right-hand side for the blue highlighted part, you can see it's picking up the sentence itself in a paragraph tab, in a paragraph tag. So this one is for the sentence, but if I want the locator for the box, so like the box itself that contains the sentence, then I need to click on the selector icon again and go to the, like navigate to the box. You can see it's not for the word. This is for the word. This is for the box. So the box is inside a div tag. So the div tag. So that is the locator I'm going to get, not the one for the word. So I'm going to be getting the locator for the box and I'm going to be getting the XPath. So as usual, you right click on that, click on copy, and I'm going to say copy XPath. And like I always suggest, always check that the XPath that you're copying is unique. And this is definitely the relative XPath. So I'm going to paste that in there and it's giving me 1 of 1. So that obviously means that my locator for that box or the container is unique. Now, all I need to do is to go back into IntelliJ, and in my then step definition, I just need to write assert true. You can see the assert true is already coming up. So there are 2 assert trues. So there's one that takes a Boolean condition, and then there's one that takes a Boolean condition and a string. So the string is just like a message. So if a test fails, then the string message is going to be displayed in your console to let you know what exactly the failure is based on what you've put inside the string message in the code. But for today, we are only going to be dealing with assert true that takes in one parameter, which is the Boolean condition. And the Boolean condition in this case is a Boolean condition, or a Boolean is either true or false. So that's what Boolean is all about. Is either true or false, 0 or 1, true or false. So that's what Boolean is. So Boolean condition, so that means that Boolean condition in this case needs to be true for the assert true to pass. So assert true will obviously, for assert true, that means your condition needs to be true within the bracket. For assert false, that means your condition in the bracket needs to be false for the test to be considered as passed. So we've copied our locator, let's not forget, and I need to write out my condition, which needs to be true. So the condition I want to write now, or the condition I want to verify, is that the container or the box that I have here is displayed on the screen, like the box is visible on the screen. So how do I do that? So I've written assert.assert true. Then all I need to do is to tell Chrome driver to find the container or the box for me using the locator I'm going to specify. So that's driver dot find element by, we copied an XPath, so we need to use XPath. And then once I paste that in it, then the other thing I need to do is I need to specify the action that I want Chrome driver to do in this case. So you can see the actions here are a bit different. So you can see IntelliJ already knows actions to suggest to me. So usually when we were doing driver.find element, and we place the element in it, and we say dot, you usually notice that the first options will either be like click or send keys. But because we are using assert true, IntelliJ knows that when you're dealing with assert true or assertions, in most cases, you would not be using click or send keys or anything like that. It's obviously still on the list, but it's not like top of the list. And moreover, because we are using assert true, it knows that there are specific actions that needs to be performed. And in this case, it's going to be anything that has or that is dealing with Boolean conditions. And that means is there going to be a true or a false? So I want to verify that the container or the box is visible on the screen when we click the submit button. So in this case, I'm going to pick dot is displayed because I want to verify that the box is displayed on the screen or the box is visible on the screen for me. So I have written my assert true condition within my then step. So I've done assert true, and like I said, assert true, that means that the value or the result within the bracket needs to be true. So that means everything here needs to come out as true for this specific test to pass. And obviously, IntelliJ is not going to tell you the value is true automatically, but you can obviously find out by yourself. And I'm going to show us how to do that also by debugging or putting the debug point on here and then verifying what condition, what value is going to get displayed by IntelliJ when we get to the specific step. So that means that the part that I've highlighted in blue has to be true for this test to pass. But then I'm going to modify the locator that we've gotten so that the locator is wrong. Then you see that the value here is then false. And if the value here is false, that means the test is going to fail because the condition that assert true is expecting is a true condition, not a false condition. So there are two things I'm going to try out here. But first off, let us run this test to actually verify if Chrome driver is going to find the box for us and if it's going to be displayed. And I'm expecting my test to pass straight away. So let's give that a try. Just filling in all my values. Select the course choice, career progression. Amazing. So we can see my test all passed. So that means the assertion here or the condition here came out to be true. So I mentioned that IntelliJ is not going to tell you that it is true straight away, but there's a way you can find out. So I'm going to put a debug point here. And instead of, what did I do? So I've put a debug point here. So instead of running, I'm going to click on the debug option. So there's a debug option here. So instead of clicking on run, I'm going to click on debug. So what IntelliJ is then going to do is when it gets to this stage, so after clicking the submit button and it gets to this particular line of code, it's not going to run the code for me until I tell it to run itself. So I'm going to, so the test is going to run. It's going to click on the submit button for me, but it's not going to carry out this specific line of code because I've added a debug point there, like a pause or like a break there, because I want to perform a specific action or I want to do some further investigation or anything like that. So that's why we always have, that's basically the usefulness of like the debug points, just in case you want to investigate the code further or you want to step into the code or anything like that. That's when we use debug points. But in this case, I want to investigate the code further. I want to get the value for this driver.find element by expert dot is displayed. So I want to get the value for that expression itself. So let us debug the feature file now. So I'm going to click on debug feature. Good. So when I added the debug point and IntelliJ got to that stage and Chrome driver got to that stage, it did not run the test and it brought up IntelliJ backup for me to let me know that I need to perform some further action or I need to authorize Chrome driver to go ahead to do the next line of code. So like I mentioned, I'm expecting the condition here to come out as true. So I've highlighted driver the find element up until dot is displayed, then the two brackets that are there also. I did not highlight the last bracket and I did not highlight the first bracket here. So I'm expecting the condition here to be true. So that means that Chrome driver is going to find the element for that box for me. And once it finds the element, then it's obviously telling me, or it's obviously going to say that it has been displayed and I need a true value. So I'm going to right click on that and click on evaluate expression. And you will see the line of code I've highlighted also up here. And what I need to do next is to click on the evaluate button and the result here should be true. So it says result equals true. So that means it found the locator for the box, and the fact that Chrome driver is able to find the locator means that the box itself is also displayed on the page. And that is exactly what we can obviously see here on the web page. So the box is displayed, the locator found the box, and I'm getting a true value from the expression. So what Chrome driver then does is assert true. So it says it needs to take a Boolean condition, and the Boolean condition in this place is true. So this line and this line are sort of the same thing, because the value that I have here is true, and Chrome IntelliJ is then going to read it as assert true as a true condition, which is this one. Then that means my test has passed, because the box that I'm trying to validate that is on the page is actually on the page. So that's how we treat, or that's how we use assert true. So another thing I'm going to look into before, so I'm going to look into the other assertion next week, but I want to look into the driver.close and driver.quit. So I mentioned that whenever you run your test, you would always see Chrome driver lined up on the bottom of your screen, like as many Chrome drivers as you can see based on how many times you've run your test. So you can tell IntelliJ to close each of the Chrome drivers as it runs the test and it finishes running. Just let me close them off automatically. I don't want to be like clicking and clicking quit or clicking close or anything like that. So how do we do that? So we use the command or the code driver.quit and driver.close, but they do two different things. So I'm going to give you a brief explanation now. So if you go back into IntelliJ, in your then step, you obviously have in your then step. So we have driver.quit, and then we have driver.close. So they do two different things, and I'm going to explain them to you now. So driver.quit. Thinking this one. Yeah. So driver.quit would close all the browser windows opened by the Chrome driver instance, and it would then end the WebDriver section. But for driver.close, it would only close the current browser that the Chrome driver controls. So in a case whereby you've got different Chrome browsers opened, I would always recommend that you use driver.quit, because that one is going to close all the Chrome driver opened and also the instance of that Chrome driver as well. So Chrome driver is not running underneath your IntelliJ or anything like that. So it's always recommended to use driver.quit instead of using driver.close. So we're obviously going to see that in action. So I'm going to comment out this driver.close and I'm going to use driver.quit. So let me stop this test I'm currently running, and I'm going to run a new one. So let me rebuild and let me run the test. So right now I shouldn't see any, apart from this Chrome browser that I have opened by my own self, I shouldn't see any other Chrome browser opened by IntelliJ at all on my screen down here. So let's give that a try. It's taking its sweet time. The test running. clicking the submit button, verifying that one, and then closing it for me. So you can see it's no longer showing at the bottom down here. So the reason for that is because I use the driver.quit, which is going to close Chrome driver for me. The Chrome browser that has opened is going to close it for me. And then it's also going to close the instance of that web driver that's currently running as well. So going forward, I would always want us to implement the driver.quit within our code. So you don't have to be closing your Chrome browser that gets opened up by IntelliJ manually. So we're just going to stop the class here today. I don't know if anyone else has got questions quickly. Any questions?
I'm raising my hand.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, the question is not about what we're doing at the present, but I was trying to do a summary from the beginning. For example, from when they just gave us the assignment to explain, to give a documentation of what happened from the beginning to when we do step definition. Yes, some of the places where, for example, why is it that, and when we're in step runner, we have to copy the code from somewhere to this place. And also when we were doing testing.xml, we have to copy the code from somewhere. And when we're trying to do our step definition, the beginning of it, we have to copy the code from somewhere. Is that the format, or that's a better way for you to work? I don't know if you understand my question.
Yeah. So I'm going to answer the step definition one, but then I'm going to leave the other two for Mr. Deji to answer. And I hope he's still on the call. But for the step definition, I don't know why the step definition is not getting created properly. And it's just a bit weird that it's happening to everybody on the call. But usually when you right click on your feature step or on your Gherkin step and you click on create step definition and you specify the location, it should create properly for you. You shouldn't have to copy it you shouldn't have to like modify the step definition that is going to get created because it's going to create perfectly. There shouldn't be any errors there at all. But I don't know why it is not creating properly. I've tried to do my own investigation like last year when I noticed that, but I just couldn't find out why that is happening. And on my work laptop, it doesn't happen like that. So I don't know why it's happening for me and for everybody else on this call. So I really don't know. I really don't have a genuine answer to that question, to be honest.
Could we say the version you have on your work laptop is different from the one you're using? The version of IntelliJ?
So the version of my work laptop and the versions of the two laptops are the same actually. So I don't know
Okay.
why that is happening. But usually you're not meant to copy it from anywhere else. It's meant to create perfectly for you.
Okay. Mr. Deji, they've thrown something to you.
All right. So one thing, thanks Oyin for that. One thing I can say, in those days, when IntelliJ first started, to be honest, you cannot even create your step definition like that anyway. You have to run it and copy the code like you've copied it, to be honest. That's how it's been working in those days. We are in the business for a long time. So you have to first run it. Then when you run it, it's going to say, oh, it fails. However, these are the steps, and you copy it and you put in your step definition. But I would say that it could be the version of the Cucumber that is being used, right, rather than the IntelliJ, if the IntelliJs are are the same. Then also, second question, which by the way, I think those are beautiful questions that you've asked. And the question of a big idea, actually. So if you are thinking of creating your own automation suite that all of us can use, those are the challenges that all of us we are still having. Do you get it now? That you inspect your elements and you copy that element and you paste it into IntelliJ or into Visual Studio. That has been, everything that we've been doing with, what's it called? With Selenium, for instance. But if you could create a plugin, right? Or an application, right, that could copy it in the DOM and paste it in IntelliJ, and to be honest, you won't be sitting where you are sitting here. Because I guess it's a big one anyway. Having said that, there's some enterprise tool which is not Selenium, right? That that allows you to do that. So they will go in there and you would run your application within their suite, right? And then you will click around and they will copy the code automatically. Do you get it now? Like record and play. Do you get it now? When you are recording it, they will say, okay, click on there. As you are clicking, you will be getting those elements anyway. But they're not free tools, they are expensive. Some of them are like XP has got one. And I think there's one with Ranorex, Auto IT. There are a lot of them as well. No, I don't think it's Auto IT. So Tricentis is in a year. So there are a lot of them like that. But for Selenium, unfortunately, unless you bring out your application, that is the process.
I get you. Thank God still that we at least we can get somewhere to copy ourselves.
But to be honest, it's a good thing, right? It's a good question. So you should roll your sleeve and get a plugin out. I will use it.
That's okay.
Or will you not use it?
I will wake
No,
up
I will.
my code brain.
To be honest, it's a struggle actually. So okay. All right. Oyin, I can let you go if you're finished. Actually, I've got a lot of things to discuss with these guys anyway. So do you guys have any question for Oyin? Because technically, at this point, she has already covered everything there is to cover in basic how to set up integration from beginning to the end, right? The rest that will be covered will just a build up on what you've done. So I would advise you guys to kind of ensure that you understand this, because this is going to be the background of anything that you're going to do going forward, right? So if you already know this, to be honest, you can call yourself an automation tester, right? Because this is the other one, maybe you talk about page object module, you talk about how to kind of improve your development skills and everything. So and for those guys that are coming for the advance, you also have opportunity to do this more anyway. But this is kind of end-to-end technically, as you can see. The rest is for you to create another step, another feature file, and then do another step anyway. So that's what I can say.
I want to believe from what you said yesterday, if you want to take this knowledge into our different team project, meaning that we still use the same POM POM code that we copied the other time on this one to use on any other project?
Okay, that is what I want to cover in the next one, right?
I'm jumping.
Yeah, that's why I said I have something to discuss with you. If you guys are okay with what Oyin has done, I know she was meant to only be here for 1 hour. So but if you are still okay to hang around, that's fine. So the more the merrier, Oyin. But you can drop off if you want. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So okay, all right. So now if you can stop the recording and start all over again so that